I just got given $100 by a bookie, and I'm going to see if I can turn this into real cash. BetNation recently gave me a sign-up bonus. If I put in $50 of my own money, they'll give me $100. Yay. The trouble is, it's a sign-up bonus, so I have to trade with it. I can't just transfer it into my account and pull it out. But it is totally risk-free because it's not my money. So regardless if I win or I lose, I'm not risking any of my own money. And you can see my account here with BetNation has my $100 bonus along with my $50 actual money. So of course, this is real money. This isn't. But my objective is to try and get as much of this as possible over into my real account. Let's go. So over the course of about an hour and a half, I did a series of 7 trades, totally risk-free, and here's the results that I was able to get. So at about lunchtime, 12 o'clock here in Western Australia, I jumped onto this race here that was starting in about 10 or 12 minutes over in Taree, race number 4, and I decided that I'd take $20 of the bookie's $100 and back horse number 12, Bellini Spritz. It was paying $4. So of course, $20 times $4 is $80. But because I'm using the bonus money, I don't get the $20 back. But if this horse wins, I get $60. But of course, if all I'm doing is backing this horse for a win and hoping that it wins, well then that's gambling, even though it's not my money. So yeah, of course I could have just kept this trade open and hoped for the best, but I wanted to do matched betting, meaning I matched the bet on another exchange or another bookmaker. So next I come over to my Betfair account, which I've just topped up with $100 of real money, my real money. Now what I do here is because I've already backed this horse, Bellini Spritz, on a bookmaker's site, in my case BetNation, on the exchange, rather than back it, I'm going to lay it, which means on the bookie site, I've backed it to win, so that if the horse wins, I get paid. But here on Betfair, I've laid it, so that if it doesn't win, I get paid. Now, to lay the horse, Bellini Spritz, the odds for that are $5.50. Now, what I'm essentially saying here is, I've just managed to back this horse using somebody else's money, and if it wins, I got $64 coming to me. So here on Betfair, I'm going to lay the same horse up to a maximum liability on my part of $64, because that way, if the horse does win, I can pay Betfair for the horse that wins up to $64 without using any of my own money. It's the $64 that's coming from the BetNation account. So in this case, I collect $13, which leaves me with a total exposure or liability of $58.50. So in other words, if this horse wins, I've got to pay out $58.50, but I'm collecting $64 from BetNation, so I can't lose. So here I take the $5.50 odds, I collect $13, and I move on. So just to confirm, the bet was placed on BetNation, I secured the $4.20 odds, $20 of bonus money was spent. My potential return on this horse, if it wins, from BetNation is $64. My liability is $58.50. But you can see here, if any other horse wins, I just get to keep the $13. BetNation doesn't pay me the $64 because the horse didn't win, but I also don't have to pay Betfair the $58.50 because the horse didn't win. So any other horse, and I just get to keep the $13. Yay. And you can see here on Betfair that my first bet was matched and placed. Now a few moments later, after the race, I look at my Betfair account. It says I've won, which means the horse lost, if you can get your head around that. So in other words, on Betfair, I laid the horse. I didn't want it to win, which means it's a winning trade from my perspective. The horse didn't win, therefore I won the $13. I got to keep the $13. Had of the horse won, Betfair would consider this a loss on my part because I'd be the one paying out if the horse won. But I'm not paying out, the horse lost, I pocket the $13. Yay. So quick calculation. Started with $100 in the bonus account. I took 20 of it. I lost the 20 with the bookmaker but I've moved it over into my Betfair account. $13 of it, which is 13 divided by $20, 65% of it. Nice. So as I said, they've given me $100 of bonus money. I can't just take that money and keep it. I've got to trade it out. And if you can trade it out at about 60, 70, 80%, you're doing well. So first trade, I managed to keep 65% of that $20. Yay. Let's move on to the next one. I now come over to the next race at Taree, race 5. The favourite at this point, paying $4, is Johnny B. Swift. But I like the look of Archer's Reign, which is paying $4.60. So again, on BetNation, I back this horse, Archer's Reign, at $4.60 using $20 out of the $100 free money account, because I want to see if I can get some of this money out of the bonus account and either into my real account or into my Betfair account. Now, if you look at the total up the top here, you can see my account's still not touched. This $100 account is now down to 80. As far as BetNation are concerned, I've lost 20 of it on the previous race, which lost. What they don't know is I managed to take 13 of that $20 and tuck it away over in my Betfair account. So now I place a $20 back bet on Archer's Reign that's paying $4.60 with a potential return to me of $72. So if this horse wins, I get paid $72. If it doesn't, I lose $20 out of the bonus account. So we'll jump over to Betfair and we'll lay this horse. So again, I've got a potential of $72 coming to me if the horse wins. So laying this horse at $6 odds, I can take $14, my total liability being $70. 14 times 6 is $84, less the $14 that I'm collecting here is $70. So I get to keep this money if the horse doesn't win, or if the horse does win, I'm not the one paying for it. Again, looking at my Betfair account, they're telling me that Archer's Reign won, which means the horse itself lost the race. It didn't win the race. I won because I got to keep my $14. So now I've taken another $20 out of BetNation and turned it into 14. 14 divided by 20 times 100, 70%. So I was able to take $20, keep 70% of it. That's now squared away securely in my Betfair trading account, which I can now draw out because it's real money now. Here's the race results. As you can see, the winner was actually a horse named Charmed Destiny. Archer's Reign didn't win the race, which is why Betfair is saying that I won, because I'm the bookie in this case. I'm the one prepared to put money up if the horse does win. It didn't win, a different horse did, so I personally won and collected $14. So now I come across to Pakenham, race 6. I backed the favourite, Brutalina. It's only paying $1.75. So my estimated return on this, $11.25. I backed this horse using $15, not 20, but now I'm down to 15. But my expected return if this horse wins is $11.25. So knowing that if the horse wins, I'm going to receive about $11, $11.25, I come across the Betfair, I lay the horse, I managed to get the odds just below $2, $1.99 in this case, which exposes me to a total liability of $10.89, which is under the $11. So I place the bet. Now in this case, if Brutalina wins the race, I've got to pay out, and it's going to cost me $10.89. If it doesn't win the race, I get to keep the $11. Yay. So this is Pakenham, race 6, and I've backed and laid Brutalina. Let's see what happens. When we go over to Betfair, we can see that Brutalina lost, which means the horse itself actually won the race. Therefore, Betfair is saying, sorry, you lost. You got to pay out on this horse. You, me, as a bookmaker, lost this time. So rather than getting to keep the money, I got to pay out $10.89. Where am I going to get $10.89 from? Ah, that's right, BetNation. Oh look, Brutalina on the BetNation site. I won. They paid me $11.25. Yay! So I get to cover the $11 or so that I have to shell out on Betfair. So I still didn't lose because I've covered both the back and the lay side of the same horse. So now we go across to Taree, Race 6, the favourite, Spirits Burn Deep, paying $3.20. I take $15 of my bonus money at $3.20, means I'm going to get $33 back if this horse wins. So Spirits Burn Deep, race 6 to re. Let's go over to Betfair and lay the horse. So with a potential of $33 coming in, I can afford a liability of up to $33. So I take $4.20 odds and take a $10 stake for a $32 liability, which of course is below the 33. So if any horse except Spirits Burn Deep goes on to win the race, I get to keep this $10. Otherwise, I get paid, if the horse does win, $33 from the bookmaker. I give $32 to Betfair. I can't lose. That bet got matched, so we move on. Now again on Betfair, Spirits Burn Deep, I won, which means the horse didn't. I got to keep the $10. Nice. Given that I'd put $15 of BetNation's money on the line here, 10 divided by 15, that's 66.6% return. In other words, I took $15 of BetNation's generous money that they freely gave me, and I've managed to put 15 of it on a race that I've pulled 66% of it out as real cash over into my Betfair account. Yay. Now this was actually an interesting one because I actually took 2 horses on the same race. It's an opportunity to grab some more money. So in this case, I also backed and laid Cluedo on the same race, which ironically went on to win the race. You can see here that I backed it for $2.90 using $10 of their money with a potential payout of $19 to me. Great. So if Cluedo wins the race, which in this case it did, BetNation are going to give me $19. I laid Cluedo for $8 at $3.40 odds, which means if that horse did win the race, I'd have to pay out $19.20. Well, I'm getting 19 of it from these guys. Paying out $19.20 means I'm down 20 cents. But don't forget, in the same race, I also laid Spirits Burn Deep and collected $10 for that as well. So I jump over to Pakenham, race 7. And by the way, this looks like a lot of activity going on, but this is all happening within inside of an hour or so. Just one race after the other. Bang, bang, bang. So Pakenham race 7, I back the favourite, Olive Baguette, which is paying $2.90. I use $10 of the free bonus money with a potential payout to me of $19 if the horse wins. I then jump over to Betfair to lay the same horse. Remembering, I've got $19 coming to me if this horse wins. So I lay the horse, Olive Baguette, at $4 odds. I collect $6.30, which means my liability is $18.90, but I'm getting $19 if it wins, so I can't lose. If the horse doesn't win, I get to keep this $6.30, so let's see what happens. We can see that Olive Baguette, for me, was a winner, which means the horse didn't win the race, it lost. Therefore, I won and got to keep the $6.30. Nice. So we move on to the final race of the day, because I've just about gone through this whole $100 of their money. Thanks, BetNation. Now, the last race of the day, I backed race 8, Taree, Hell of a Teen, for $7 odds. I used the last of the $10 in the bonus account, and horse didn't win. So I didn't get my $7, which means I got paid on Betfair instead. And you can see it here. Hell of a Teen, I laid it $9.66 with a potential liability of $59.89. The horse didn't win, so I got to keep that $9.66. So at the end of the day, if you have a look at my Betfair account, which I topped it up with just $100, it's now sitting at $118.70. You got to remember, every time you win on Betfair, meaning the horse lost, so you got to keep the money in this case, you're also paying a commission. So after commission and costs and everything, my account with Betfair is at $118.70, which means I'm up almost $19 here. Then when you look at the BetNation account, there's $80.25. There is no bonus money. I've spent it all. So this is my actual account, which is my $50 plus $30.25, because during the course of the trading day, most of the horses that I backed using their money, I lost here on BetNation because I won over on Betfair. I lost 10. I lost 10. I bet 10 but won 19. I lost 15. I bet 15 and won 11.25. I lost 20 and I lost 20. So the first two I lost, then I lost. So if you add that up, $19 plus 11.25 is $30.25. There is no commission to pay. So $30.25 over and above my 50 of real money that I started with. My account is now at $80.25. There it is there. 7 settled bets in the last 24 hours. So I've managed to collect $30.25 here, and I've managed to collect $18.70 here, over and above all costs and commissions. Here's a snapshot. Here's the races. Taree race 4, Bellini splits, BetNation. If the horse won, I would have got $64. It didn't. I bet $20. I won $11.70 or $13 before commission with Betfair. Archer's Reign, I bet $20. I won $14 on Betfair, $12.60 after costs. Brutalina, I won with BetNation, $11.25 from $15. So here's the actual run sheet for the day where I've managed to make a quick $52, $53, just under $50 after costs. Now this doesn't sound like a lot of money, and it's not, but it's risk-free, it's totally free, and at no point was any of my actual money exposed because I'm trading the bookmaker's money. Now the other thing about this is I didn't strategically place any of these bets. I just got in, got out, got in, got out over the course of about an hour or so, just to show you what's possible, that I was able to make about $50 in an hour, which is pretty good. A lot of people don't earn that in an hour, yet I've shown you how it's possible here. Now, when you look at $50 out of $100, that's only 50%. Some of these bets I could have done a lot better in if I'd have put in a little bit of extra time and effort, but I didn't. If the horse loses, I make money. Fine, I get to keep the Betfair money. If it wins, yeah, I get paid by BetNation, but I got to pay out on Betfair, so I break even at best. Maybe come out $1 or $2 ahead, which is not necessarily the best strategy. It's a strategy, but you can also set it up so that you win money either way, whether the horse wins or loses, rather than just relying on it to lose. There are times where I've just gone in and taken the very first available price to me on either the bet or the lay side, and that's not necessarily the smartest thing to do. For example, have a look at this. Remember this one, race 5 at Taree? I backed Archer's Reign for $4.60, $20, $20 of the bonus money, which means I had $72 potential income coming in if the horse won. $72, remember that, using $20. Well, Archer's Reign went on to lose the race, which meant I got paid out on Betfair, but I only got $14, which is still nice because it's $14, right? And $14 is 70%. Yay. In other words, if I was able to turn every trade over at 70%, I would have got to keep $70, not $50. After costs and commissions, it might have been closer to $60 or so. So it is a better rate of return than what I was getting because I was just jumping in and taking whatever. Have a look at this. So instead of getting $14 for a $70 liability, if I'd have waited, at one point, I could have got $18 because the price dropped. I could have laid the horse at a cheaper rate. Got $18 instead of $14. And in actual fact, at one point, I saw Archer's Reign where I was able to lay it for $4.10, which means I could have potentially collected $23 or thereabouts instead of $14, which is more than 100% of the money. Because you think, I've taken $20 and I've been able to keep 14 of it. Well, what if I took the 20 and was able to keep 23 of it? So there are literally times where you can take the money, be a little bit smarter with your decisions, and get close to 100% of it. But even if you're aiming for 70, 80, 90%, that's still great. Very, very great. It's free money. And you get to extract it out of the bookmaker's account into your account via Betfair or wherever. So you want to try and keep as much of it as possible. In my case, I got to keep about 50 of it over the course of an hour. So I hope this video has helped you. Let me know if it has. Let me know if there's anything that's not clear to you. If there's anything that you need clarification you want me to explain, I'm happy to. Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.